Hello, my name is Marion Lane, and I'm a Danish energy worker and a teacher. What I am here to share with you is the teachings related to cosmic Atlantis. You could say an introduction, the beginning, the opening, and this opening is something that's inside every single one of us as I recognize it. My travel with Cosmic Atlantis opened shortly after my opening into my access, I would call it, an access that goes through the inner senses, where I had and have abilities to have visions, inner knowings about how things works. My consciousness is easy to acknowledge how things correspond and to create models related to science that describes how things works in energy and in spirit. It's really important for me to address that this is not science. This is more a way of being invited into your own recognition, to be awakened in your intuitive connection to this in yourself by my sharing of my recognitions. So by working scientific with something that's not science, I have collected informations through inner voyages and inner visions about the relations between different memories and libraries related to inner wisdom. Right now, this teaching is open in the energy. As I experience it, all these kinds of teachings, 70% of the teachings goes in the energy. So if you would like to be a part of this teaching, you choose it. This choice that you say yes to participate, use your intentional power to address this is important. And by recognizing the difference, you open your ability to bring this into your own perspective, and this is really important. So a few intentional breathe, sigh, and then choose if you want to participate in these teachings that contains some words, but mostly contains energy that supports you into your own recognition, your own resonance with what I'm about to talk about. Hello, and welcome to everybody. So by agreeing and participating, the energy will begin to support you in releasing the blockages and everything that hinders you from reaching your own recognition, your own resonance with this issue. This issue to me is the soul's remembrance of what is important. Your soul remembrance of the heart and everything, the love and everything that is love, and the connection with this in your own vibration is what this is all about. But at the same time, I will open the story, and the story, I call it a legend, a soul legend. And the reason why I use the word soul legend is because I've been recognizing in this inner voyages, this inner visions, that what we can attend, what we can recognize, what we can collect as inner knowing is related to our reality. So you can only comprehend, you can only see things in your inner voyages that you can relate to. So because of this, all you will see in an inner voyage, in an inner recognition, is mirrored in the physical reality you are part of. But the remembrance, the wisdoms that we are connected to through these inner voyages, these inner knowings, these inner visions, is from a time, a place that's so different, so far away from where we are, that what we recognize is mirrored into our perspective, into our realities, but it's not. And I recognize this because I see the changes within as I developing myself, as I develop my consciousness. I've been working with this for between 8 and 10 years. And in these 8 and 10 years, it has developed. And the development relies upon my development of my consciousness and my awareness and my ability to use symbols to understand and to comprehend and to acknowledge and to have this inner knowings that opens as revelations, kind of. I call it micro and macro revelations because it appears as a sudden acknowledgement of how everything is that I didn't see before, and it appears so clearly that often I don't understand, why couldn't I see it before? Why was this not seen? And then it seems so odd because it opens so clearly and so complete. If it's in a small area and if it's in a certain topic, then it's like a micro revelation. But if it opens in all my life, in my whole reality, then it's a macro revelation. Okay, you might have these micro or macro revelations when you're open to this vibration, this possibility to reveal and to get connected to your inner true access to the wisdom from cosmic Atlantis. The energy opens, and all the tensions in your systems that keeps you from being connected to your inner core and the depth of your inner core is working now. So sigh intentionally. Create a sigh. This is a natural reaction from both humans and animals. A sigh change perspective, change direction in your conscious awareness. You can use this to support yourself to go with the energy. Okay. See if you can sense any change at all, a change in your body, a change in your energy, a change in how clear you sense yourself, how intense your presence is present right now. Breathe. Soft, deep. The energy supports. And it's important that you don't believe me. It's important that you listen to the words and sense your own meeting with this and get inspired to investigate it by yourself. Because if you are walking a path that I tell you is true and you don't recognize it yourself, this is a false path. And it gives you disturbance and it doesn't give you any good. It's important to follow the path that you can recognize within yourself. And being inspired by the other's paths is a huge possibility to open our own path. But the difference between being inspired and being told is important here. Okay, so we just put this in as an intention to this meeting between us, that the field that opens supports you to find your own path with resonance to what I'm sharing with you, both in the energy and with the words. My relation to Cosmic Atlantis, and why I call it Cosmic Atlantis, is related to a meeting that goes through my ability to have inner clearings and inner clairvoyance. And this is not a clairvoyance where I can find answers to people. This is more like these revelations where I suddenly recognize something that is so true that I know that it's not this true, but a part of me know that this is true, and it opens inside of myself in a way that I don't discuss. I don't discuss it in these openings and these meetings inside of myself into these realities. But I always ensure when I'm out of it again and I'm in this reality that I look for the difference that it creates in this reality, but I'm not mixing it. I never mix it. So I'm completely aware about that reality that I'm meeting is a different reality than this one. And that this is the one that's true. This is the one that is real. And the one other is an unreal reality. And I don't know how real it could be. This is something that I keep open. But I look for what does this bring me. And it for sure have brought me a lot of good things. These meetings, these voyages, these inner revelations has created a new foundation for my own being in this reality. And this is what I would like to share with you, this possibility. But the boundaries, and to be aware of the boundaries and to take care of the boundaries is an important part of using these possibilities for the better good in our own realities. Okay. The energy gets stronger and deeper. What was intense to me in these first meetings was how clear it was to me and how real it was. And that the feelings, the emotions, the intensity of my devotion to this reality was so strong that it was nearly too much to me. And I didn't like to share it because it felt too intimate and too intense to share. So in the beginning, I didn't share it with somebody. I kept it to myself. And only after a lot of visits and small sharings with an apprentice of mine, I began to open it slowly to share it with more. What I recognized was that this path, no, this reality, not a path, this reality mirrors our reality in a way that can support us to find reasons and find meaning in what we are in a healthy way. The energy release the boundaries that you're carrying that keeps you from being connected to your inner connection to this reality that I would like to share with you. The reason why I call it Cosmic Atlantis is because I recognize that a lot of people related to spiritual realities were talking about Atlantis. Atlantis as a civilization that existed long before this civilizations that we are in right now, and that it was developed much more than this, and a lot of different descriptions, and actually a lot of the descriptions were quite detailed. And when I met these descriptions and they reached my systems, I recognized that, oh, it seems true, but it doesn't seem true on this earth. Not to me. To them, I could hear that they were talking about it as it has been on this earth. But in my reality, I couldn't recognize it. My system differentiate completely and recognize that this that they were talking about was in another planet, in another time, long before this earth was even born in cosmos. And this differentiating of the different stories, I could kind of sense the placement in the cosmic reality. I didn't describe it, and I didn't tell people. Who am I to tell people about their reality? It's not my business. But it opened my reality more. The only thing that I really, really had difficulties with was when I met people who talked about the future reality that opens in the mirroring of these former civilizations as realities that opens in a way that separates people, between the right one and the wrong ones, the saved ones and the doomed ones. And in the meeting with these realities, I see this as a kind of a humanification in the meeting with these possibilities, in the realities that meets us to support us in creating a new reality here where we are. That this created realities that opens in Earth right now in these times is only opening if we no longer will differentiate in a way that separates us from each other. That a huge part of the movement is to diminish the separation, and that this will appear through love. So the descriptions of how it will be in reality, and the mirroring of civilizations from other places that is more negative and more about fighting and more about wars in the realities. To me, it was like humanifications. It was like a kind of a pollutions of these inner voyages and visions that, to me, the ones that was entering into our realities is carried in by love and no separation. And maybe this resonates has the resonance with you too. Maybe it don't. If you still have like a sense of that this is something to you, just go with it. And what gives you a resonance, you can use it to invite yourself and to go deeper into your vision, your voyage, your path. And what doesn't resonate, you can just throw it out to the birds, and then you can take it in again if you later on recognize, oh, this might be something I could use anyhow. I just couldn't see it at that time. I do this often with other sharings. So this is not something about finding the truth and holding the truth. And even though I talk about it and describe it in a way where you can sense that I have an edge about this is how it was, this is how it wasn't, I'm completely aware that this is an unreal world, and that it's created by my mind and my meeting with it, and the boundaries is created, the possibilities are created by what I can and I can't see, and it develops all the time. So this is limited. This is a truly limited editions. My reality, my meeting with this realities, your meeting with this realities is limited editions. So it's important always to remember that. Otherwise, we could easily begin to fight about what's right and wrong in these unreal reality, and it doesn't make sense at all, because the meaning by them is to develop and to expand possibilities. Slow, deep breathing. Recognize within yourself the resonance with this sharing. How does it appear to you? What is the meaning? Does it make sense? Even though you might not be able to put words upon it, might not be able to communicate, not even with yourself about it, it's okay. It's much about if it feels right, if you have this resonance within it, then it supports you to open your reality more by these meetings. So the reason why I call it Cosmic Atlantis is because the visions, the inner voyagers, to me, they're truly not present in this earth. It hasn't been present in this earth, but in the cosmic reality, in the beginning of this universe life, the breath of this universe, the breath, in the beginning of the breath, the reality, the civilizations that I'm meeting in this inner voyages was present there. And in this time, this means that this reality is present in the outermost part of the universe. Because in the really early times of the universe, this was in the innermost part of the universe. But due to the expansions, what is in the innermost part of the universe at this new born time of the universe is now in the outermost part of the universe. We, as I see it, is in the innermost, youngest part of the universe at these times, and has a quite young creature here that we are developing, and is a part of the physical reality and carrying a capacity to carry soul remembrance, soul capacity, conscious capacity that actually is collecting all possibilities of consciousness that has revealed itself through the cosmic reality until now. So we are kind of a collector. We are kind of a unifying object for consciousness as I recognize it. And this possibilities, this capacity opens in just these times. And this, as I see it, is the reason why there's a lot of different psychic things going on. There's a lot of different spiritual aspects that opens, a lot of people opens, and a lot of different stories is remembered and brought into earth reality from all these different places around in cosmic, is because it's reopening in this creature that we are, and in this mutual collective field of consciousness that is carried in this earth consciousness. So because of this, as I see it, a lot of remembrance and a lot of remembrance libraries is carried in, both through the connection through the memories, but also in the embedded consciousness that goes within the energetic field, the remembrance field of the DNA systems that is activated when your soul is connected 4 months in the pregnancy period, and the soul is completely embedded in itself into your physical consciousness. So this melting in together begins for true when we are 4 months in the fetus periods, because this is where the growth of all the different wires in a system reach each other, and that the consciousness begin to appear It slowly begins 3 months in the pregnancy, but it really begins to work in a way where the memories from what is going on will be saved in your system from this time. So in this time, embedding of remembrance and activation possibilities from the soul is carrying in. And a lot of souls, like 1/4 of the souls that is carried in, that is incarnated right now in this earth, is from different times and different places, carrying in abilities, carrying in connections that supports this awakening that's happening right now. And as sharing, I feel sorrow about separation. Yes. And this sorrow, this longing is well known as a part of the awakening. And what we work with in my teachings is to go through the sorrow and the pain and find the love, because the sorrow and the pain is actually kind of the surroundings that contains the true love. The clear, clean, true love is embedded in the sorrow and the pain. So we will open to this true connections that's inside the sorrow and the pain. So maybe you can feel this in the energy that it opens now, that your sorrow, your longing, this kind of painful longing, that it's kind of activated. It's not like waves of sorrow or pain. This is more like a small, if you could see it as beautiful, a small beautiful sorrow and pain that opens and is slowly giving access to this clear, clean love access. That is what we will use to go to this travel that I would like to share with you, where we open to a collection of your remembrance from cosmic Atlantis and all the other Atlantis civilizations. That is the same. And the reason why I call it cosmic Atlantis is because we have in this earth a civilization that has been mirrored what happened in cosmic Atlantis, and in all different levels of civilizations and incarnational programs throughout the cosmic reality. This is mirrored again and again and again, and we have a part of it in the remembrance, in the existence of in this earth. We have civilizations that have actually mirrored what happened in cosmic Atlantis in this reality. So, and this is called Atlantis. Okay, this is called Atlantis in this earth. So because of that, I call it cosmic Atlantis, this first civilization that it existed in this universe, in this cosmic breath of consciousness that we are a part of. Okay. Hello and welcome here. And a recognition, I feel the love in it. So in general, the energy here supports us to get connected into this true love connection that goes through the remembrance of the Atlantis here on Earth, the Atlantis civilization, and all the other Atlantis-like civilizations throughout the cosmic reality, throughout the different incarnational programs, and to the first civilization that brought this in this cosmic reality. So we open through the whole line, the whole spiral of consciousness, and we'll collect the remembrance that we can use in this life, in this reality, to support ourselves, to be united within ourselves, and to be balanced, and to be present, and to be functional in a good way in our practical reality in this life. So to me, this is the reason for all spiritual work, no matter how intense and special it is, no matter how abstract and magic it appears, it's all about true meeting with the reality. Lemuria is shared. Yes, Lemuria as well. Lemuria, cosmic Lemuria as well, is the second line in the meetings as I see it. This is the second civilization, so made a huge difference, and Lemuria brought in the first soul, the first separated soul. As in cosmic Atlantis, the existence here was truly connected with the first consciousness that is love. And maybe now we should take the travel together, open this adventure for us to meet it in our own way, our own perspective. And even though I will share with you this legend, the soul legend, if it appears to you in any other different ways than the way I share it, yours is true, okay? To you, yours is true. Don't let my sharing diminish yours, okay? Only let it enhance your own experience. So only in the way where I enhance your experience, let it happen. And if your experience appears different than what I'm sharing, this is what's true. Okay. A couple of deep, soft breathing. And let's open to this inner meeting with this soul legend about cosmic Atlantis and cosmic Lemuria. Okay. We begin with the universe and the universal breath and the birth of the first consciousness that is love. Before the birth of the first consciousness that is love, the universe sprang into different perspectives, like parts and possibilities was just moving in and out. And what was present when the universe opened in the breath was what would be present in all of this universe. Then, after an expansion, the exhale began until the universe didn't exist again. After 1,000 breaths, suddenly the state of consciousness, the state of energy that appears in this breath was love. And love is balance. And in this universal breath expansion that was all love, the birth of the first consciousness that is love was happening, appeared. And as the first consciousness is love was born, when the exhale again diminished and ended this universal breath, a seed was left, the seed of the first consciousness that was love. And thus the next breath, the next expansion was brought in through the seed. And the next breath was again contained in love. And the first consciousness that is love expanded itself with this possibility that opens in this breath. When the breath of the universe exhaled again, the seed expanded with what was love that has been expanded in this breath. The breath continued for 1,000 times, created dimensions that was opened in love and crystallized in love and contained in the seed again and again. And the breath before this breath that we are at now was the first breath of the universe where the physical reality was born. This physical reality contained love in the breath, in the geometrical universe. So the sphere, the cube, the pyramids was the physical structures that was so balanced that it was a mirror of the first consciousness that is love in the physical reality. So in the breath before this, when the exhale ended that universal breath, the geometrical universe of the physical universe was what was brought in the seed of the first consciousness that is love. And when this universe opened, something special happened. All these geometrical shapes exploded in the physical universe and created a movement. So as the inhale opened the universe, a movement of all the fractures from the physical expansion and explosion begins to wandering the different direction to find itself in these perfect shapes of balance. But all the different substances met each other and created parts that was partly in balance, not the complete balance, but partly in balance. And all these molecules, all these substances, all this matter create a chaotic universe of matter that still contained complete balanced constituents. And the constituents were still moving towards more balance, towards the structures that kept the complete balance, the geometrical universe. And this is the universe that we are in right now. And these constituents, they created a creature or a lot of creatures that was life in the physical universe. And this life in the physical universe was special because it was so strong and yet so hard, because the expansion and the surviving was the driving forcing of the expansion and the surviving was so strong that it ruled in nearly all the creatures. Only when a creature that was gendered and had offsprings that needed caretaking for a long time, a creature began to exist that reflected with the first consciousness that is love, that was flooding through all the physical universe, and thus began to create a conscious presence in the physical matter that mirrored the first consciousness that is love, the spirit of the first consciousness that is love in the physical reality. And this people, this civilization, was the people from cosmic Atlantis. In their presence, in their consciousness, they brought in an awareness and a way of being conscious that we don't understand today, because we have separations and they didn't. Because they didn't have the separation, the opening was complete, and only each creature's different abilities to comprehend, to meet, to expand consciousness makes differentiating between the different people. The people developed consciousness that was really special, and the civilization was really developed, as well as the spiritual abilities. The different gender, the female and the male part, created different spirit matter, as the holy feminine and the holy masculine, or the father or the mother, as it was called. They created it, and they were a part of it and exchanged with it and developed themselves and the civilization with the first consciousness that is love. With this spiritual abilities, an ability to foresee wisdom appears. It was opening in the female part, but was only working functionally when the male and the female part were together. In these visions, a reality appeared that it could be crucial that everybody was supported to find a way of being that was so aligned with the first consciousness that is love, that it could turn the other way around in a way that everybody would suddenly be in not love, and that everybody would diminish the contact with the first consciousness that is love, and then the universe would crack. And then the seed of the first consciousness that is love would be endangered. To support that this would not happen, they found out a way. They created a civilization beneath the water, in the bottom of the ocean, and separated the part of the people that had the highest connection with the spirit of the first consciousness that is love, both the male and the female part. And the rest of the people was on the surface, on the areas, and the time that was passing, that was going by, was so long that they began to forget in the surface. It was like a memory, like a legend, these peoples below the ocean, in the ocean below the sea. And in the ocean, they had created a structure that slowly diminished their ability to be connected and to be carrying the wisdom with no separation. So they created the separation by a structure. And then in the separation part, they should create the myth, they should create the questions that needed to be answered to keep the connection. So this was the crystallizations of the teachings that should support everyone to find their own connection. So by diminishing the connection, they should create the teachings. They should create the ways of being connected by yourself in the separation and not through somebody else. I'm trembling now because I get so related to this. But something went wrong when they lowered and kept on lowering the connection. And at some time, they began to have difficulties in the civilization below the sea. They couldn't run the different systems anymore. They forgot how to do it. And they began to have problems in surviving. Then the male parts, they want to leave, and the female part wanted to stay. If both have stayed or both have left, the balance would have been kept. But the males left and the female stayed. And when the male appeared on the surface, they were seen as gods. And the females, they died. And the connection to the female part of the spirit diminished, get weak, and the unbalance opened completely. A lot of disturbance appeared. War happened as it has been foreseen. So everything that has been foreseen happened. The universe cracked and the connection was lost. and the pain and the disturbance appeared. Both the father and the mother was no longer connected directly into the physical universe. The mother was a memory and created like a black hole of pain and lack. And the father created the intention to bring it back, to make it undone. And this opened a movement of consciousness through pain and sorrow, carrying the core of love to recreate the seed of love, for it to be reconnected with the physical universe. And I have these really intense reactions, and I've been doing it so much so I can carry it without busting into tears and crying my heart out. I've been doing it so many times when I begin these voyages, but now I can stay here. Some have physical reactions. It's normal because we are beginning the updates as we are in this story, this legend, soul legend. The memory, the field is contained, and at the same time, the first consciousness that is love created the separation and the first cosmic law of separation that should ensure that nothing is lost again. And in this separation, the first consciousness that is love created a separation by itself, that separated into two, that separated into three, that separated into two, and then originally 12 was created. And their purpose was to recreate the connection to the first consciousness that is love in the physical reality. The first laws, cosmic laws, the laws of separation, and the law of the free will was born in cosmic Atlantis and the fall. After a long evolution, a development, suddenly in the universe, a new creature appears in the physical reality. Again, female males with offspring, kind of mirroring the people from cosmic Atlantis. And now the separation, the first evolutionary step of a soul, a separated soul, was created. The Lemurian soul. And the Lemurian soul was connected to the Lemurian people in this civilization, and it rise to an extension with a high level of art and science and an ability to create a really strong functional reality. And the soul's travel in the physical life and then going through the afterlife and then come back was created in the Lemurian society, Lemurian reality. But the difficulties appeared here. The difficulties that appeared here was that due to the free will, some of the people was choosing life that was simple. Some of the people choose life that was complex. And the difference between them opened and created a span. And because what was used to the travel to the afterlife was the spirit from the people that lived, the span begins to give trouble to find ways to keep the movement from the souls from through the life and the afterlives. The difficulties got really strong when the people that contained the higher purposes was getting the strongest. And then more and more a life revealed and was searched for, where you abandoned the physical reality and you abandoned the chores and the things you should do to take care of the physical reality. It was not important anymore. And because of this, the civilizations was falling and were falling apart. Nothing worked anymore. And the distinguishment was really getting more and more strong. So from the soul part, a pain began to open, difficulties by going through the afterlives and finding the balance with the support that the soul was giving was cracking and being more and more disturbed. And in the end, something like a crash that ended the civilization appeared, and the pain was so strong that it created a purpose of equally distribution, equally sharing, in a way that no matter how important the first consciousness that is love could be, the only way that this distribution of consciousness could be is in a way that it is equally distributed or equally landing in a way that it's more giving than it's a burden. Cosmic Lemuria was what's giving birth to this, and the pain from the fall in this civilization is still existing in all the different after coming soul evolutionary steps, where in each evolutionary step the connection has been diminished with different kind of laws that's all originate in the law of separation, the law of the free will, the law of equally distribution, equally sharing, and the law over them all, the law above them all, is you must not harm, and the law below them all, you can only have responsibility to what you can see. In this, civilizations after civilization have been building throughout the universe. And this civilization that you are in right now is so special because you have mirrored in your history in this earth and in the other earth that's in this young path, the 7 earths that's like your earth, and all of them is mirroring in different ways all the different forms, all the different Lemurian and Atlantic civilizations right here. Because of this, there's a possibility of the reopening of these civilizations, the reopening of the remembrance fields and the access to the wisdom, the knowledge that has been carried in and that has been building in these civilizations, and that is capsuled into the falls, into the pains, into the sorrows. By reopening to the love, we are opening the gates. We are the keys that can open the gates to all these memories, all these civilizations' possibilities. And we have the possibility to live them into this reality and create a reality that's balancing love in our true physical, real world as it is right now. And even though you can see it, it's really not possible because the history until now has been all about a recreation of the fall, not because we should, but because we have chosen it. Right now, we are at a tipping point where the possibility opens to create by choice a new world, and we need the support from all these earlier civilizations, all these earlier levels or evolutionary steps of the soul, and the way of being aware and being connected to the first consciousness that is love into the physical realities. And this is what's opening now. To this connection that we have opened, your true connection, to this soul legend, you are updating now. And your awareness, your recognition in your life, your recognition in your life of the change that it could give is bringing it in. Sorry for my language. I'm so moved. I'm so in the energy that my language ability is a little bit disturbed. Okay. Right now, you might experience your expansion. It's healthy and it opens only in a way that gives you more stability, more ability in your physical reality. So this is where you should search for it. Mild, caring, strong abilities to make responsible choices in your own reality right here, right now. Search for the difference. The small differences shows the movement. This is just the beginning. But what will happen if this opens and people make this choice? These small choices will be like a lavina of love that opens and creates awareness and responsibility in a way where we support each other. What if all the powers, all the energy, all the possibilities, all the wisdom, all the knowledge that right now is used for fighting, what if all these powers would be used for creating a reality that works for everybody? What if this shift is made? What would this bring in? How fast would it be possible to create a new reality actually? With no fighting, with peace, and with safe presence for everybody? Would it be possible to create a safe world where everybody, every child is safe? If you look into the past, it's not possible to see this possibility. But if you look into your heart now, where you're connecting, your connection to civilizations from other places that carries in the first consciousness that is love and the awareness, the possibilities, the powers that related to these earlier civilizations, what is true to you now? What appears if you don't look to yesterday? If you look now and you look to tomorrow, is it then possible? Would it be possible to create a world right here, right now that makes sense? Not only to you or to some, but to everybody. A world can only make sense to everybody when every child is safe. This work is about this. Recognize with your resonance how you are entering into this work. I see it as everybody. Everybody is a part of this work. It's just different how we attend it, How are we ignited? I'm ignited through the soul legends, and this supports me to step into this work, having this access, beginning to recognize this difference, this possibilities. I see all over the world that this happens through science, through gatherings, through art, music, movie, through the internet, through different ways of learning, seeing, recognizing, and sensing what's right and wrong. This is awakening all over the world right now in a different ways. This is one way. This is one support to support yourself, to help yourself to get into the point where the past is not what's choosing for you. And with this, we are finishing this teaching, this sharing about cosmic Atlantis and your possibility to be updated to your connection. And by finding the resonance with this through these teachings, your ability, your availability is here now and will stay with you. And if you become insecure, oh, how was it? And can I do it myself? Then you can use the video. Because the growth of the consciousness right now is so strong, the ability to use videos when they are contained in a certain way, and I will make a teaching about this later on, how can we create videos that is just as strong in the energy as when we're doing it live. I have investigated this with this kind of science that I practice, that is, you could call it spirit science, because it's not true science, because science contain ways where you are searching and you are showing with evidence that can be fulfilled again and again with different kind of people. This science that I have been doing, I have ensured that it can be recreated, but not with every kind of people. It has been recreated with other people that have this inner possibilities to meet realities. So I have in my science ensured that other people that I don't know see the same things or similar when they go into these realities. And I have also found people who don't, as you do when you do science. But if science should be true, everybody who search for the same things should find the same things. And this is not possible in this reality. So this is not really science. Okay. And my love to science is so strong, and it's really important that we're not mixing it. If we mix something that is not the same, then we can destroy both. And this we would not do here. Thank you so much for this meeting. I hope that you will continue to share and to comment here, and that you will meet me again. You can find me. I have a homepage, mynelene.com, and it's really developing because it's new to me to begin to share more international. I have been working nearly solely from Denmark until now, since 2012. You can find me on YouTube. I have The Void of Consciousness as a YouTube channel. You can find me Marianne Helene, The New Era Energy on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok even. No, don't do that. It's still so funny and new. But you can find me on Facebook, Elite Teachings by Marianne Helene. If you want to follow me, have some more meeting like this. Thank you from this meeting, and see you again.